As Jennifer stopped the torrent of flames, she breathed in heavily from how much it drained her. Even with that woman supporting us, with the balls of light hovering around us, I don't know how much longer we can last. Jennifer turned the spear so she could look at the crystal embedded in it. It glowed with a bright red. It was the reason why Jennifer was able to use such abilities, though lately, she's been feeling a strange and foreign strength inside of her. Sometimes, I feel like the flames aren't being channeled out of stone, but through me. Gripping the spear, Jennifer tried to understand what was happening and whether this was in connection to what her brother had told them about the mysterious substance in the air. A part of her felt fearful of her new powers. Still, after spending so much time inside the simulation, she shook her head to correct her thinking. It's not a simulation, but an actual world. Her mother ceased the attack on the monster, appearing equally drained of energy. "You dirty humans!" the creature cried out in pain. As the smoke and steam dispersed, allowing them to see what happened, they soon saw the monster clutching a stump where its arm used to exist. Wet splattering noises were heard as blood doused the floor, pooling beneath the monster. Roaring, "Do you humans know who I am? I am Sargothath. Agents of light trembled in front of my might, and you think you can defeat me?" Sargothath slowly backed away from them, breaking the restraints made from harmony. "We can't keep him restrained any longer," Grace shouted. "If you're going to attack, you need to do it now." Slowly, she was being dragged as Sargothath was trying to retreat. The chain of a weapon wrapped around one of the legs. Jennifer looked around, wondering what else they could do. After the attack, Jennifer was still recovering from unleashing hell onto the thing. "Come on, everyone!" Jimin yelled out and made a mad dash towards Sargothath. Watching as everyone rushed to defeat the giant monster, Jennifer stared at the lights and how they rushed towards the monstrous being. Looking at the woman who controlled them before returning to concentrate on the monster, she couldn't understand what was happening. Each of the balls of light began to merge with one another, forming a chain. It wrapped around Sargothath and restricted the monster. Sargothath began to frantically struggle with the added bindings. "Who the hell are you? How are you able to do this?" Panic was in its voice, unsure of what was transpiring. "It's impossible! I've turned this place into my domain!" Though the sight was impressive, Jennifer noticed that the woman was putting a lot of stress on her body. It looked like an act that couldn't be maintained for even a long duration of time. "Han, I don't think we have a lot of time," she yelled at her brother, who looked to be building up some kind of energy. Han's sword grew bright as though it could compete against the sun or the woman's light. Also, the area around him began plummeting, the immediate area around him freezing instantly. As though noticing the power of Han's attack, Sargothath began screaming and roaring, trying to escape. "I won't let you!" Smoke began billowing off of its body. Just as it looked like Han was going to unleash the energy he'd been building up, the smoke exploded outwards and blinded everyone. "Sue!" a voice called out. The air began swirling, and soon the smoke was cleared away. Looking around in amazement, Jennifer saw one of the women who joined in with the large group earlier was using some kind of ability to manipulate the air around them. It was as though a tornado was swirling around her. Once the smoke was cleared, she was startled to see that Sargothath was gone. "Where did he go?" Her mother yelled out, turning her head every which way as though she were trying to locate the monster. Everyone was tense, expecting the thing to crash into them and start the fight up again. All of you, to me! Stay in formation! We don't know whether it's planning on ambushing us. The woman who used the lights commanded the larger group of women. Their movements were quick and efficient, only taking moments before they were in a defensive formation, heads looking about and weapons ready to attack. The only person who looked calm was Sheila. Sheila? Abigail went to a friend, concerned that the girl had been overwhelmed with the trauma. Are you okay? Sheila nodded. I don't sense the monster. I think it escaped. I think that's the case too. Han agreed, the light from his sword having faded away. Hearing her brother confirm the idea, Jennifer felt as though all the stress inside left her body. She dropped to the ground and tilted her head back. You good? Her brother asked. Sighing relief, I'm just glad that's all over. Now we just had to figure out how to get out of here. What do you think it meant when it was talking about this place being its domain? Her mother asked as she walked towards them. Turning her head, Jennifer saw that her mother looked equally relieved about the fight being over. It also talked about agents of light. Jennifer tilted her head, trying to understand what happened. I think it's connected to what's happening in this world. Han shrugged his shoulders. It may have been the reason why we haven't been able to find an exit out of this area. Even though she wasn't entirely convinced with what Han had said about the monster being connected to them getting out of the maze, she felt a little hope that they would be able to return to the facility. I'm ready to take a shower if this is all over, she thought to herself. Being able to sleep in the living area was something she looked forward to. Looking towards where Sheila was standing, the girl was talking with the woman with the light ability. Based on the expression on their faces, Abigail's group had reached a consensus on Sathgathoth not returning and everything being over. How long do you think it'll take for us to get out of here? She asked Han, not wanting to think about them having to walk for days to find the exit. Her brother cracked a small smile. I get the feeling it won't be too long before we're able to find the exit. We should be back in our living areas, enjoying the food inside the facility. It'll just take some time for us to locate everyone who had died during the battle. Hopefully, they just stayed inside our usual meeting area instead of trying to dive back into this hellhole. Footsteps were heard, and Jennifer saw that Abigail's group was approaching the three of them. Jackie's group in addition to the rest of their group. Is it over? Ruby asked when she rejoined them. As she removed her helmet, there were circles under her eyes. Jennifer gathered that the stress of seeing her friend being killed hadn't helped the number of things piled in her mind. Han went over to Ruby and gave her a comforting hug. We'll find Ivy. I'm sure she's hanging out in the inn and eating a hot meal. She knows it would take too long to try and rejoin us. Ruby held Han, nodding her head. Tears began to form as she closed her eyes. Each of them had removed their helmets and joined the freedom. Even Jimin and Liz had joined them, the expressions being worn and frayed. When Han released Ruby, he turned to look at the woman who appeared to be the leader of the new group. You must be Bella, Han grinned. Glad we were able to find you guys. He reached out a hand, offering to shake her hand. Bella laughed. Who found who? They all laughed at Bella's reply, happy that the nightmare was over.